Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friday podcast, or is it still Thursday in some some people's countries? Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, I decided to move the podcast to early morning because I got really exhausted last night. So thank you for joining me at this time instead. But I think there's probably more of you that's going to be in the chat today because it's swaying a little bit more towards American time. Right, there is quite a bit to get through today, actually. So let's say our hellos, and then we'll get to it. Hello, Vera. Vera, thank you so much for the AI image that you created for me. It was absolutely stunning. I might actually show it in the pod. If you want me to, I might actually show it in the podcast because it was really cute. Thank you. Cinderella, it's still Thursday in the US. Okay. Happy yesterday to you lot. Hey Gwen. Hey Rhonda. Hey Claudia. Thursday in Jamaica, beautiful Jamaica, on my wish list, Jamaica. British tabloids absolutely embarrassing themselves over this whole Jamaica thing. Like they're taking it personally, and they're taking it out on Jamaica. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that because it is just ridiculous the way they're coming after Jamaica as a country. The Jamaican PM. I mean, you don't own any other country. This is 2024. No other country behaves like, okay, I'm not going to say the whole of the United Kingdom, but no other institution, if we're referring to the institution of the monarchy and the tabloid press, behaves in this way. Ridiculous. Okay. Let's get into some other things before we get into the main stories. All right. Congratulations to Miss Anne Harriam, who continues to get awards for his short film, The After. Now getting nominated for the NAACP Awards, and he's also been nominated for an Oscar. So please go and support. That is on Netflix and a friend of Harry and Meghan's. Over in other royals who behave ridiculous news, Prince Albert. Could Prince Albert be finally getting the karma he deserves? Prince Albert, of course, is married to Princess Charlene. Charlene, who seems to have been a prisoner from the moment she walked down the aisle. In fact, if the rumors are true, she was trying to escape even before she walked down the aisle and even cried on her wedding day. Well, now it's being said that Prince Albert's former accountant is telling all about Albert and Charlene. Kaiser reporting apparently Prince Albert of Monaco fired his longtime accountant last year, and the guy, Claude Palmero, is going on some kind of revenge tour through the French press. It's Palermo. Claude Palermo kept detailed accounts in every way, accounts of Prince Albert's spending habits and those of his wife, Princess Charlene. Albert has an intricate payment system to all of his children conceived before he married Charlene, and Albert and Charlene also employed undocumented immigrants as nannies. Some highlights from the Mail's reporting: Charlene's allowance. According to the accountant's notes, Princess Charlene, who is 45, is 20 years the prince's junior, and spent 4 months in a hospital in 2021, 2022 for deep fatigue, was routinely given an allowance of around 1.2 million a year, but still managed to overspend. And is it worth it? Is it worth being married to this absolute pig who has clearly made you wither away for that amount of money? I reserve some sympathy only because I don't know to what level she can actually leave. That's the only reason I reserve some sympathy. But 1.2 million and you still overspend, wow. In 2017, she reportedly needed more than 500,000 to pay off a substantial overdraft. 2 years later, the speed at which Charlene's apparently burned through money so worried the prince's accountant that he wrote in his notes, "It's crazy. I have no control over the princess's spending." Charlene's real estate. Charlene poured nearly 2 million into renovating her holiday home in Corsica and redecorating her office, Palmero said. He also claimed she rented another house on the French island where she spent time apart from Albert. Palmero's notes also show that one day in April 2016, she asked for 60,000. On another occasion in 2020, the accountant recorded a one-off payment to Charlene from Albert of 171,000 pounds, including over 4,000 in cash. And Charlene's family also gets money too. Meanwhile, Charlene's family, in particular her brother Sean, with whom she runs a charity, were also benefiting from the spectacular money that her husband Albert has, with Sean receiving over 786,000 to buy a house in 2022. He now runs a coffee shop in Monaco. Albert's finances are struggling because of all of the kids. The entries in Palermo's notebook seem to suggest that Prince Albert's chaotic personal life has drained his riches. He has two acknowledged love children, Alexander by former air hostess Nicole Koss, born in 2003, and Jasmine by US estate agent Tamara Rotolo, born in 1993. According to Le Mode, Jasmine Grace Grimaldi, 31, Albert's love child with Rotolo, receives 73,000 every 3 months, despite not being part of the royal family. Palmero noted that she was given just over 4,000 for her 18th birthday and a flat in New York worth 2.6 million 7 years later. You know, all of this might also give us an insight into the British royal family and their spending habits. Okay, so in further notes, it is noted that the palace was also paying for a kidnap and ransom insurance. That costs almost 1 million euros a year. And then the news, it's also been reported that there was an account that was set up to pay Albert's former mistresses and their children without his wife knowing. um, okay, so I'm trying to like skim through this because it's quite a lot. Oh, Charlene's nannies. Some of the most potentially damaging comments in Palmero's notebooks refer to Charlene's staff. He notes she employed nannies and other domestic staff who were illegal immigrants, all living in Monaco illegally. The Serene Highness, the princess, makes people work for her who are not compliant. He also referred to a moonlighting Filipino woman who ties up dogs in the shower. In a letter written in January 2017, he said that another employee had been illegal for 5 years. Despite being on a 1 month tourist visa, she gets paid €100 a day, which is off the scale. What is this about somebody tying a dog in the okay, I'm gonna skim over that because I don't even know, and I don't think I want to know any further about somebody's dog being tied up in the shower. So Kaiser, these people are ridiculous and crazy. Kaiser ends by saying the stuff about Charlene's allowance with her overspending, like we still don't know where she lives even now. Yeah, so after she came back from South Africa, and it was almost like she was refusing to come back. We don't know where she's been. She spends some time in Monaco, but she reportedly lives in Switzerland now, or maybe somewhere else. I genuinely hope she scored away some money. The undocumented nanny situation is awful, given that Albert and Charlene were blowing through millions on ridiculous stuff, yet they couldn't pay a regular, fair salary to a nanny with a valid work visa. Okay, I feel like my sympathy just went out the window now. The stuff about Albert's other bank accounts and the money he gives to his other kids and mistresses, I mean, I expected that. No one is even sure how much Albert is even worth. Exactly. And where is all of that money coming from? That's another question. Monaco is an interesting place. Is anybody here from Monaco? Listen, these Grimaldis, strange bunch they are, have been for generations. There you go. Another group of royals, dysfunctional as hell. Nobody should have this much money or power. All right, let's go to your comments and then I will keep it moving. Yes, please do hit that thumbs up button. Studio HQ, she's spending to be able to deal with her marriage. Yeah, probably that. Yeah, Rhonda, it's an absolute hot mess. Absolute hot mess. Fatimata, why didn't they make this blabbermouth sign a lifetime NDA? I don't know. Maybe they did. Whether they did or didn't, I'm thankful for the tea. Gwen, you think she's just as crazy as he is? Probably. Diane, Prince Albert was a player long before he met Charlene. I'm sure it has caused her much pain. Yeah. I think multiple things can be true. I think somebody can be a victim of something, but also perpetrate things also. And certainly hiring illegals and not paying them fairly, when you are burning through cash like that, it's a pretty heinous thing to do. All right, let's leave these royals and get back to our royals. Yeah, our royals, our British royals. So one of the things that the British tabloids have continued to perpetrate is this whole idea that Harry and Meghan are no longer wanted by the A-list, that they have been basically just shunned. And this is despite the fact that there were the movie premiere with the CEO of Paramount, because him and his wife are the ones that actually invited them. There were at the Beyonce concert with the Netflix CEO and his wife. And then Harry got his award with Jeff Bezos and his partner, who is equally very, very, a very much accomplished woman herself. But the British press want us to believe that Hollywood hates them. And it's now been reported that the couple's that Harry and Meghan are longtime fans of Bob Marley's music and were delighted to attend the film's premiere after receiving an invite from the Robbins family, who they share a personal relationship with. Paramount's president and CEO, Brian Robbins, and his wife, Tracy. So they personally received an invitation to come out. It's not like they just invited themselves here. Mental. But like Harry said, oh, and they're also besties with now Oscar nominees and NAACP Image Award nominees. That also. And they want us to believe that they have been shunned. Where's the shunning? And because Miss Anne is nominated for an Oscars, who knows? Maybe they might show up, support their friend. Dear oh dear. Yeah, Rhonda, it's like they're saying you're gonna believe me or your lying eyes. It's like we can see. We're not dumb. Okay, maybe the tabloid readers might be dumb, but everybody else can see it for what it is now. All right. Now, the British tabloids have continued to attack this whole event, and it's just insane because they showed up to a red carpet for a Bob Marley movie, and GB News have particularly been on a mission. They invited a gentleman on the show. So this guy is meant to be a talent manager, a PR person. Now, usually, I have a theory. We're going to listen to the audio because it is hilarious, by the way. Usually, on these shows, they vet you before you come on. They already have an agenda. So I have a theory about this. I think that they expected this guy to come on and trash Harry and Meghan. He may have even lied and said that he was anti-Harry and Meghan. I don't know. This is just my theory. I'm not stating this as fact. Because what's interesting and what you're going to see, or hear rather, is this guy completely destroys the GB News hosts. I think that they were expecting him to trash Harry and Meghan. He didn't. And now usually when they have somebody who is pro Harry and Meghan come on these shows, they set them up with a host who is very good at kind of overpowering the debate and making you feel small. But in this situation, he completely overpowers the interviewers, and they get very embarrassed and irritated. You can see, look at her body language right here, crossing her arms. She was not expecting this guy to destroy these two weasels the way that he did. So we're going to listen to the audio, and then I'm going to stop as it goes on to add commentary because it's hilarious. So let's have a listen.
Harry and Meghan, they've once again been hitting headlines after being photographed last night with the Jamaican Prime Minister.
Yes, Harry and Meghan attended the One Love premiere to celebrate the life and music of Bob Marley.
And while there, they were seen chatting and posing with Jamaica's PM, Andrew Holness, who has previously been vocal about his desire to cut ties with King Charles and the monarchy, and he's currently Jamaica's head of state.
Yes, well, joining us for more on this is the talent and PR manager, Jonathan Shallett. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the show. Now, you're a talent and PR man, so you'll be used to some of your clients perhaps making silly decisions. Is this one, in your view, when it comes to Meghan and Harry?
I like the way you set up the question by saying silly decision, which is kind of indicating your viewpoint already. I'm not sure it's a silly decision. This is a movie about one of the greatest reggae star ever, and Meghan has black descent, and so she's been invited to the premiere and gone. I don't think one can criticise someone with black heritage going to a movie about a great reggae star.
But the headlines that have come out of it, though, accusations that they appear insensitive, members of the royal family unwell, in hospital, going...
Okay, so let me just stop right there. So he very, very smartly calls them out for the framing and the way that they're setting up the interview. And this is what they do on these propaganda shows. And then she goes on to say You know, the headlines that are coming out, accusations, headlines by who? By the British tabloids? By your propagandist friends? Those headlines? What is the bias of those headlines? And using a word like accusations. You only accuse someone of something if they've committed a crime. What crime was committed here? Harry and Meghan living their best life?
Going through surgery and the like, and they're with a famous anti-monarchist. Is there nothing there that you think might be problematic?
I think they're two.
I mean, Charles taking money from the Bin Laden family was also problematic, but you know, I ain't never heard you lot mention that. Let's continue.
Separate issues. First of all, travelling when a member of their family is not well. Well, they already live in Los Angeles, so they're hardly, if anything, they're going closer to their family than further away if they go to Jamaica. I'm not sure. It seems to me that both the King and the Princess of Wales have routine operations. They're not, life-threatening operations.
And that's a very good point. Remember, this was a planned procedure, they told us, that went well. And she's recovering, and he's gonna, have his prostate sorted out. So why should Harry and Meghan stop working? Most normal people, when their family members are ill, they support the way they can, but they carry on working. That's life.
Indeed, the Princess of Wales has had her operation. I'm not quite sure why you'd expect them not to travel when their family members aren't well. I mean, my parents haven't been well, and I've continued travelling.
But Jonathan, they're travelling and doing that to a place and to a Prime Minister who last year suggested that they would leave the Commonwealth and remove themselves from links to the monarchy. It's not just the fact they're travelling when their family are ill. They're doing it at a time when, and schmoozing with people who have, in some aspects, attacked the monarchy.
Well, the King Charles may say that's responsible. He went to the celebration of Barbados being independent from the UK and flew over to Barbados as Barbados ended their time as part of the UK jurisdiction. The fact is, our dialogue is better. Dialogue is better than ignoring. And I think because someone's anti-monarchist, when we had a brutal slave trade in Jamaica hundreds of years ago, I'm not sure they can be attacked for going with a democratically elected Jamaican Prime Minister, if that's the policy of the country. I mean, Barbados has remained great friends with Britain, even though now totally independent. And many could say perhaps that's a good way of keeping positive relationships with Jamaica, with the brother to the next king being there. I think, there are positives here as well. I think this is an example of the media in Britain having one agenda.
Yeah.
Again, Meghan.
I mean, I wonder if it's... you make a good point there. You make a good point. But what...
She didn't know how to come back to that. Karen did not know how to come back. That was too much sense. That man made way too much sense. And she didn't know how to come back to that. Because what do you say? Charles was literally there dancing around and shaking hands with Barbados, who also said, thank you very much, but no. Wait, hang on a sec. Someone has literally knocked on my door. One sec. I think it's the keeper. So sorry about that, folks. But yeah, you got the gist. Yeah, he owned them. He absolutely owned them. It was glorious, and you can see the way her hands are folded. I mean, she was embarrassed. He was embarrassed. Didn't know what to say. It was actually coming to the end of the clip, by the way, so don't worry, you haven't missed. But it's all over. It's all over Twitter. I'm going to post it on Instagram as well. They were owned and embarrassed. The way that they are trying to spin this, to make people, I don't know what, feel personally offended because a completely sovereign country like Jamaica wants to do their own thing. Ridiculous. Yeah, this clip is an instant classic. Absolute instant classic. And this is why I'm saying I wonder if he switched codes when he came live, because usually when you've got someone as intelligent as this gentleman here, they bring someone on. The interviewers will be someone who can really like grab the debate by the neck and like throw the speaker off. Yeah, it is. It's such a non-story, and GB News made themselves look ridiculous. But they have to try. They have to try, and they have to keep spinning. And they continued. I don't know. Maybe they realized that this interview definitely didn't go well. They also had another one with Carol Malone, this witch who has come after Meghan repeatedly. So let's watch her also embarrass herself, because the other interviewer on this panel jumped in.
Harry knows full well that the Queen, how much the Queen loved the Commonwealth. He knows that. And what he's doing, this is like him sticking two fingers up at the palace and just saying, he's showing his disdain for the institution by posing alongside someone who holds the monarchy and the Commonwealth in similar disdain. But the really shocking thing is that, there is talk in Jamaica that they want to be separated from us because they perceive Britain now to be a racist country. Now, that would fit in very well with Meghan's agenda, who also thinks Britain is a racist country, but she particularly thinks that the monarchy is racist and that the royal family themselves are racist. So on every level, this is an insult to
Do you think it was a deliberate two fingers up to the royal family then, Nikki?
I do think it was deliberate, but I slightly disagree with Carol, because I think what's done for Jamaica with the Commonwealth is the Windrush scandal. I think so many people have just thought, well, what was that for? I came here, I worked hard, I paid my taxes, I served this country, and then you've kind of said, oh, we don't respect your right to stay in this country. Obviously, Jamaica's been independent since, 1961? So there's been a long time for people to sort of think, well, why do we still have a British head of state? And King Charles himself knows that popularity is kind of waning. I think it's natural that we just part ways from them.
I don't think that's a problem, actually, Nikki, but I think the fact this guy wants to just break up the Commonwealth.
Let me also just say, in all of this faux outrage, none of them can actually state clearly what it is that Jamaica is benefiting from this political tie to monarchy. Should Jamaica just be grateful that the monarch is breathing, albeit across an entire ocean in a whole nother country? How is Jamaica actually benefiting from this at all? Because all that happens is every couple of years they come along riding, on jeeps wearing colonizer cosplay.
Wealth, which really was hugely important to the Queen, and we know if Harry had stayed within the royal family, he was going to deploy with his wife, who loves to tell us that she's a woman of colour, to do a lot of work in the Commonwealth. So there he is. Yeah. Here he is now, posing for photographs with a guy who wants to wreck it from within, which I think it's unconscionable.
I understand, but his opinion, his belief, whether we believe it's actually his belief or not, is that, the Commonwealth is effectively colonial, that we have treated certain states, with disdain.
But Harry's giving it credence. But Harry's giving it credence by being with them.
Well, right, but he's, that's the line that he would trot out, isn't it? I mean, I find it really interesting that actually one of the biggest problems with Commonwealth countries is the fact that they have terrible LGBT laws. Like in Jamaica, it is really, really dangerous to be a gay man. And that law is a Victorian law that came from Britain. Now, if you want to do something good for the Commonwealth, why do you start repealing all that stuff or working on campaigning on that?
There's about 30 countries, actually, in the Commonwealth where it's very difficult to be gay.
Absolutely.
Because I've been to one or two of them and I thought, oh dear.
But that's a sort of nuance that Harry and Meghan won't think about.
Okay, I think you get the. Yeah, I think you get the idea. They are pulling at straws at this point, and I think they're just throwing everything at the wall. They are desperate that something sticks, but they have well and truly been exposed. I mean, you have the Daily Fail now also coming after the Jamaican Prime Minister. And at the end of the day, when Kate and William went to Jamaica, they went there as representatives of the Crown. And like I said in my last podcast, I thought that you know, the Jamaican PM was very cordial, very polite, and he spoke in a way that, you know, a world leader should be able to speak to a representative of another country when he comes to their country, and to just say, you know, we welcome you here. He never said that you are not welcome here. He just said, well, we're now moving on. This institution is no longer relevant in today's world, because it isn't. If the United Kingdom wants a monarchy, or the overwhelming majority of the citizens of the United Kingdom want a monarchy to reside over their country, then that's up to the United Kingdom. There's no place now for the monarch of the United Kingdom to rule over other countries, or for any other monarchy for that matter, to rule over other countries. Oh dear. Now, there are some media and some radio shows in Jamaica that were also having their 2 cents, and I wanted to play this because I thought that this was a very good clip. This is from a Jamaican radio show, and he makes a really good point, and so does she. So let's have a listen to this.
Now, these articles, I think, seem to be conflating two things. That Jamaica's intention to become a republic is also a statement of animus or hostility towards the British royal family. And I don't think I've ever gotten that from any of our leaders, that there is any animus or hostility, or that we would completely separate ourselves from diplomatic relations with Britain and any kind of interaction with the British royal family. Mm-hmm. The government has simply laid out a position that it does not believe, and I 100% support them, that we should continue with the British royal family as the heads of state, the hereditary heads of state of Jamaica. I see no dissonance between, as they put it, quote unquote, cozying up with Harry and Meghan and wanting to leave the British royal family. There's
or
no
labeling
there.
our prime minister as anti-royal.
Yes, bitter. And, you know, somebody needs to say it. People just like Harry and Meghan more. There's also that. You know, let's just be honest.
Well, the YouTubers have said it.
Yeah, let's just be honest. There's also that. Yeah?
Yeah, one said, sounds like they're jealous of the reception that Harry and Meghan was given by Jamaicans.
Bitter. bitter.
And that's really what it is, isn't it? Bitter. The reception that they received, because everybody was just so happy to see them. This is what the Jamaican Prime Minister said on Twitter. He said, the premiere of Bob Marley One Love is a victory for Jamaica. This film offers a compelling portrayal of the Jamaican reggae legacy and the extraordinary journey of the iconic Bob Marley. Against the backdrop of the political history at the time, the film beautifully waves the socio-political landscape that influenced Marley's music and cultural impact. So for them, this was a very special evening, very meaningful evening, and the movie is very meaningful, not just in terms of Marley's legacy, but also socially and politically in the landscape at the time. And the UK press are here just throwing a tantrum. I would absolutely love for this movie to go to #1 in the UK charts. Really shut them up. Definitely go and watch and support, please. I do believe that it's actually going to be a very good movie. Okay. So let me go to comments, and then we will move on to some last things. But brilliantly said by that host, and also the other people who came on to GB News and pushed back, because somebody needs to. I mean, all of this spin. Yeah, Claudia, that lady, she got slapped. Verbally slapped. And so did the guy as well. Where's the picture? Absolutely embarrassing. Tamika, that interview was a hostage takeover. Yeah, exactly. She had to admit that he made a good point, because what could she say? What do you even say to that? She had nowhere to go. Oh. Yeah, she had no choice but to acknowledge her point because she couldn't come back to that. Himmy fan, do Brits really get hot and bothered about this? Well, the whole point of propaganda news channels like GB News is to get you hot and bothered about things like this so that you're not focusing on the fact that you can't pay your heating bill. That's what they want. They want you to to spin all this false outrage about what's happening with the royal family when you can't even afford a can of beans. Valerie said, GB News is a joke. The presenters look so foolish. Then they get another witch to predict the end of Harry and Meghan's marriage. Oh, yeah. Should we get into that? Thank you so much, Valerie. That's a brilliant segue into the next part. This nonsense. A so-called fortune teller has predicted Harry and Meghan's royal split after reading her Asparagus. Now, this is new. So we've gone from body language experts who get their certifications on Groupon. You've got astrologers and tarot readers out here who also have time to hate on Harry and Meghan. Whatever brings on, the clicks, right? So we've got the body language experts, the astrology and the tarot readers. Who else did we have? Oh, we had the body language experts reading Meghan's voice. Yeah, let me repeat that. Body language experts reading Meghan's voice. And now we have Asparagus fortune tellers. Jemima Packinson from Bath in Somerset has foretold the Duke and Duchess of Sussex would leave the firm by tossing asparagus spears into the air and interpreting the patterns they create. Interesting that she couldn't tell us that Kate was going to end up in hospital and that, Charles was going to end up with an enlarged prostate. If she has said that, then maybe we could have prevented this past week's hospitalizations and we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. But not only was she able to predict, but she's able to predict apparently the end of Harry and Meghan's marriage, which she says is going to be soon. So let's have a listen to this.
And what about the royal family? Is there any predictions for the royal family this year?
Just watch out for news from Montecito. There are going to be separations and divorces within the royal family. And remember, it is extended, but there's going to be quite some news from Montecito.
Right. So it could be a Harry and Meghan split?
That looks on the cards.
Oh, controversial. And what about...
So what I'm hearing is William and Kate are going to divorce this year. Oh, thanks for letting us know. Because as we know, these people do nothing but project. And at the end of the day, I'm not here to laugh at, anyone's failed marriage or anything, bad going on in other people's lives. It's just the fact that they want to play us for fools, that they continue to do this, to bully and go after the Sussexes, that they think that all of the watching public are stupid, and the way in which this entire soap opera that we are paying for, the British taxpayers is paying for, continues to play out with this crumbling institution. How is the British public benefiting from any of this? All you have now is a dysfunctional institution, the monarchy, being propped up by another dysfunctional institution, the British press. And we are paying for all of this and benefiting in absolutely no way, while being treated like we're stupid and we can't see past any of this. And now they have gotten so desperate. We've got asparagus readers. Are you not embarrassed? This is beyond embarrassing. Beyond embarrassing. Oh, yeah. And not only are they bringing on asparagus readers, we're probably going to get mashed potato readers coming soon. Oh, and who can forget? How could I forget this? The lady who saw, didn't you see Kate Middleton's face in Meghan's knees? Or Kate Middleton's face in her toast or something like that? But now, not only are we getting Asparagus readers to push propaganda, we're just straight up changing articles. So I want you to look at these two articles right here. Kate Middleton, your best friend 1 minute and worst enemy the next, expert claims. So that was published on the 24th of January, 2024. The very next day, Prince Harry, your best friend 1 minute and worst enemy the next, expert claims. Published on the 25th, 2024. So it's actually the same article. They've updated it, and then because you can see it's the same writers, it's the same article. They've updated it, changed the names from Kate to Harry. But they forgot to change the tags. Oh, yes. It's still tagged Kate Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge. So this is how stupid and sloppy they are. So, first and foremost, first question is, why was this article about Kate Middleton written in the first place? Someone briefing against Kate in the palace? Second question, who gave the order to change the article? Was there a call from Kensington Palace? Was there a call from the Middleton camp? Why was this article written? Who is briefing about Kate, and why was it changed? A thank you to all the squaddies who archived the original article, who keep screenshotting, who are keeping tabs and all of these things. I actually have to thank Squaddy Twitter is its own world. I have to thank them, because without them, I wouldn't get all these stories together so quickly for you all. So shout out to Twitter Squaddies. They do a great job. But it just shows the level of propaganda to change an article like this, but too stupid not to change the tags. Oi. Something that I actually forgot to cover the other day, this came out a couple of days ago. By complete coincidence, there was a former patient at Kate Middleton's hospital who detailed recovery after abdominal surgery. Just by complete coincidence, there was someone who had abdominal surgery at the hospital that Kate Middleton is at, and that person decided to speak to People magazine. Incredible. So the former patient says that the timeline mirrors his own experience, and that he got to leave a little bit sooner. When he had to return after contracting an infection, they cared for me very well, he said. One day my son turned up with my wife, as we didn't know the rule, and they kindly made an exception, but let him come to see me. But I think he found it really scary, so I'm not sure I would do that again, he says of the experience. Oh, so can we not expect William to show up to the hospital again? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Because he only showed up once and was only there for 15 minutes. The insider says that he found his recovery journey to be a slow road, even though his baseline health had been very good. Even several weeks after the op, I would feel exhausted after the slightest chore or walk. Oh, okay. So we're not going to see Kate Middleton cutting ribbons anytime soon. It can be quite a slow recovery. I'm pretty fit and active, and it took me a few months to get back to even a gentle swim or a proper walk, he says. I had the surgery last June, and I'm back to full health now, but it took a while. It's quite a major op. Well, thank you, individual who just happened to be at the same hospital and get a similar abdominal surgery as Kate Middleton, for letting us know that. I mean, do these people think we're stupid? Do they think we're stupid? Clearly they do. Because what is this? And all of this propaganda is just making people more and more suspicious. Before I go on to that, I just want to say some thank yous. Thank you so much. Yesterday, actually, Joe, for contributing. Thank you to Miss Jill W for your PayPal yesterday. And also thank you to Laverne for the 5 copies, much appreciated. To Tammy for joining as a member. Those of you who, when I got demonetized, who got kicked out of membership, you're no longer going to be charged. But if you want to rejoin through Buy Me a Coffee, you can rejoin through Buy Me a Coffee for membership. And thank you to everybody who's been sending me coffees, to Angie for the coffee, and to R.R. Carter for the coffee as well. Thank you so much for your continued support. Okay, I just wanted to say my thank yous before we got into this part. So now the press, we're now being told that the press was only allowed outside Kate's hospital for 1 day. Now, if this was Meghan, and certainly back in the Diana years, there was no such protection. So please, I never want to hear again that the palace could not have, protected Meghan, or Meghan couldn't have been protected. Because here we have the press very much following orders. And if this was Meghan, you'd have a whole camp outside waiting to see when she comes out. In fact, they threw up a stink when they weren't allowed to see her baby straight away. Okay, let me just pull up this article because this is quite interesting. One moment, folks. Okay, so this photo that you see here, this is from January 18th, when Prince William was seen leaving the London clinic after visiting his wife. This is the only time he's been photographed around the London clinic, leaving some of us, myself included, wondering if William has only visited his wife in the hospital once in the past week. I was under the belief that the media had set up camp outside the London clinic and that they would get photos of all of William's visits and visits from Kate's family. But now Hello Magazine says that the media was only allowed outside the hospital on that day, the 18th. No, they're only allowed, so they can control them when they want, and they haven't been allowed back. The Princess of Wales has been quietly recovering in hospital since she underwent successful abdominal surgery on Tuesday last week. And while members of the press were allowed to report from outside the London clinic on the day that Kensington Palace announced Kate's health news, media have not been allowed to station themselves outside at Marylebone Hospital since. So much secrecy has surrounded the princess's hospital stay and lengthy recovery. This is unlike when Kate was expecting George in 2013, and reporters and photographers spent weeks camping outside the Lindo wing of St Mary's Hospital in Paddington, waiting for the news of the royal baby's birth. The media frenzies was even dubbed the Great Kate Wait. The then Duke and Duchess of Cambridge learnt from this experience, and for the following two births of their children, Princess Charlotte and Louis, the media were only invited down to the hospital once Kate was in labour. When the royal children were born, it was a moment for celebration, and there was a controlled arrangement in place for the media to be outside the Lindo wing to report on it. Emily Lash, Hello's royal editor, explained of the press's presence. Explaining the lack of media presence outside the hospital, Emily added, "This is a different situation to the royal children's birth, and you have to consider the privacy of other patients coming in and out for treatment as well as that of the princesses." Well, the press wouldn't be interested in the other patients anyway. The Kaiser goes on to say, "This actually answered some big questions I had about the lack of photos around the London clinic and the lack of reporting on who is visiting and when. It feels like Kensington Palace authorised the media scrum set up last week with the promise that they could get photos of William in his Audi. It actually makes perfect sense that this is the compromise worked out. KP would stage the photos with William last week with the understanding that the media give William and Kate space and time beyond that. Now I'm surprised that media outlets haven't put up a fight about it, but I'm sure deals are being made behind the scenes for how this is being managed at a comms level. Still, I'm glad Kate is being given the space and privacy to recover in peace. I always hated that she had to do those post-birth photo calls so quickly." I think we've all hated the way in which royal women have been treated, especially when it comes to, yes, the births of their children, their mental health. It's just when you now see the absolutely glaring double standards in how Meghan was treated, it just kind of feels like the audacity to ask for your privacy when the privacy of others was never respected. And no, I don't think that there should be, by the way, let me just say, I don't think that there should be hordes of photographers standing outside, waiting for Kate, seeing who comes in and out. But it just shows that when they want to protect one member of the family, they absolutely will. When they don't want to protect another member of the family, they'll throw them under the bus. Right. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I had to say. I'm gonna go get on with the day. Thank you as always, everyone. Let's try and continue to, despite all of the usual drama, let's try and continue to reminisce in the glory that was this moment. And yes, please do go and support the Marley movie. If it's showing anywhere near where I am, I will definitely go and try and see it. Valerie, you said British people can go to the Caribbean without visas, but it is not the same for people from the Caribbean. Also, the Conservative Party under Mrs. Thatcher changed the Caribbean status and Windrush. Indeed. Thank you so much for that, Valerie. That's a very good point. Remember that the tabloids are desperate. The longer they go without having access to Harry and Meghan, the more feverish and desperate they're going to become. Now, what they do need to do is just put their arms down. But they're going to keep going. Harry said it himself. But I just hope a mixture of people waking up and realizing what's going on, and Harry continuing with his court cases, and people demanding more, not even regulation, but more press fairness, will bolster up good, fair and balanced outlets like Byline Times, and expose the tabloid press more and more as time goes on. Tomato, the asparagus lady, I think she should eat them instead of using them to lie. Absolutely. Yeah, reading asparagus. We are at the reading asparagus phase. Here we were thinking that we had gotten to the acceptance phase of grief. We are now at the reading. This is why I said, I'm sorry, but the psychologist got was it the 5 stages of grief or the 7 stages of grief wrong? We have now learned that there are 100 stages of grief, thanks to the British tabloids, and we are now at the reading asparagus stage of grief. We are definitely not at acceptance. Yeah, Dr. Un, beyond embarrassing. I shall read my cabin. Oh my god. All right, folks, it's coming to the afternoon and I have to go get on with my day. Thank you so much for your support as usual. Please remember to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Love you all. Ciao.
In my soul, in my soul, in my soul, in my soul.